Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the Business Spotlight series. I'm here with David Erskine, who's MD of DeTech Europe and Pray. How you doing, David?
Good, thank you. Well, good as can be expected. It's a Monday.
That's it. That's it. Thank you very much for joining us. And yeah, if we could start things off as usual and just give us a little bit more background as to who you are, what it is you do, how long you've been doing it for, please, David.
Right, well, I've been in electronics for over 30 years now, working for different companies, which included the likes of the UK companies in Seto and a couple of solder manufacturers. But then I went on to work for Sanyo as working European sales for them. And at the point where I was asked to move off and go and live in Germany, I decided with a young family that I'd made the crazy decision to set up on my own. So that was about 24 years ago.
Yeah.
And basically started out as a distribution company. So we're distributing in electronics manufacturing, mainly the PCB assembly side of things. So robots for putting circuit boards together, vision systems for inspecting them, and several other things as well that go alongside that, automation systems and things. So yeah, I kind of worked with several different companies over the years. And now we've kind of doing not as much distribution because we've gone into manufacturing as well, which was always a dream really, to go into manufacturing and develop our own products and put our own ideas, into things.
Yeah.
So we're looking on the distribution side. We represent Panasonic, which is kind of a well-known name. So most people don't look at you clueless, where a lot of the other companies we represent, people have never heard of them. So it's quite nice having someone like Panasonic in our portfolio. And they're great pieces of equipment, great company to work with. What we noticed with Panasonic was they kind of produce what's called a placement machine, which is a machine in the middle that puts all the components onto the circuit boards. So we didn't have anything really either side. So we've gone away and we've developed all of that equipment and produced our own range, which is a different company, Pray Limited, but very much owned still by the two main directors of DeTech, which is myself and my wife. But also we've had a couple of members of staff that have been here 8 years plus, put a lot of effort into the business and to grow on the distribution side. So they've come in as shareholders in the manufacturing and the development side of things. So they're quite excited about that. They're all young. The oldest one's 31. He just became a dad last week. So shout out to Ian. So they're the future really. And at the moment, it's just me kind of passing on the ideas and things that I've done. So distribution and also manufacturing. The manufacturing is basically based around inspection and optics. That's our real expertise. So, and sorry, I've got a phone that keeps going off. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. We're constantly developing. We work a lot internationally now as well. We're about to go off to the States to an exhibition in the US where we're looking to set up some new distribution out there. And then we go to Germany again in November where we're looking at European distribution. So that's for the manufacturing side.
Exciting times. So 24 years covering that period so far. And business, what would you say in terms of your summary of your business journey? One word, what's it been like so far? And then say expanding on it. Some people use roller coasters, quite a typical one. But...
That's quite a good one. Interesting, I think, is the word I would use. It's hard to put it into one word. I think interesting, an interesting journey, an interesting learning journey, I think, as well. Always kind of was quite strong in sales. I started off doing something totally different. I was a trainee bank manager, and then got a bit fed up with that. So I decided I wanted to go into sales, and I'd always loved electronics. So it was a hobby that I turned into a job. So that was kind of, it's been a very interesting journey, but I started off doing the sales, was not made to be a manager of people, probably still aren't. All I've done is taken the lessons of the other companies that I've worked for in the past, and taken the experiences of how I was maybe trapped in that employment, and then tried to avoid or use those experiences. So avoid the bad things that I didn't like, and then use things like, we're very family orientated. Everyone who works for us, my thing is that your family comes first. So if they thought, my girlfriend's got to go to a appointment because she's pregnant or whatever, I'm like, I'll go with her, you know. So it's, I think I've always sort of like kept in mind that I might, as a business owner, work ridiculous hours, but I can't expect everyone else to do that.
Sure.
You know, I've signed up for life for this.
Yeah, that's right.
Necessarily. I hope they have, because they're all great guys. So I hope they have.
Yeah.
It's you know, so
Excellent.
yeah, that's the biggest learning thing, I think, is learning how to take the experiences you've had and use them to the benefit of your employees and of your company as you go forward. So
that's a good share. Thank you for that. So along that kind of journey, I mean, 24 years, we're covering quite a few, or at least a couple of recessions and Brexit and COVID and all those things. What are the challenges at the moment that you've got and can foresee, and what are the opportunities?
I think on the challenges side, you know, when you're doing your SWOT analysis, as we all do, and that kind of thing, I think there's a global downturn in electronics manufacturing. I don't know if this is being caused because after COVID, we saw a big ramp up, which quite a few companies did. And I think a lot of people built for stock and built panic stock to try and make sure if there was another relapse or anything into that there would be the electronics there for people. Because obviously electronics during COVID were probably the biggest selling thing comfortably, other than toilet rolls, you know. So they were the biggest thing that everybody was taking on. So, you know, everybody could order from Amazon and get it delivered, and most things on Amazon electronics. So it did lead to a boom for us in that side. It's dropped off now, which has caused, I think, to a bit of a recession. Geopolitical's always very worrying. Does people say, does Russia, Ukraine, and that kind of thing affect your costs massively? I mean, we were selling product to Russia, and then we couldn't sell it to Russia anymore. So it affects everyone, quite rightly, I will say, but you know, it does affect everybody. We're starting to see it come back now, so it's a different challenge now. The challenge was survival. The challenge is now ramp up, because during survival you kind of ramp down a little bit. We haven't lost any staff. We've actually taken people on, so we haven't lost any staff. But at the same time, you kind of your stock levels that you keep. You know, you assemble chassis ready to put, because a lot of the things we do is with optics, as I said. So we build get all the chassis built for us. They come to us, and then we put all the tech inside them, kind of thing. So it's keeping enough of those chassis on the shelf, because we've got 3 on the shelf. That's fine. Well, we've just had 4 orders, and then it's another 12 weeks to make them. So it's kind of, we've always had traditionally a lead time of 2 to 4 weeks on our own products. So now we're having to put that lead time up, which is another challenge. But it's a more positive challenge, because it means we need to be building more.
Responsive to orders.
But future-wise, I think we could just do with the world settling down a little bit. I think everybody would say that, you know, less fighting, please, more getting on with each other. That'd be great. And that's where it's exciting for us. We're going to a show in Chicago in October, which to see, we're probably appointing the largest distributor of products in the north to sell our products. They're very interested. We've got a great company we're talking to that are in Mexico as well, that are looking to do Mexico, Brazil, and South America. So that's quite exciting for us. And that's on the back of a launch of a new product that we're bringing out, which is called a PRI, which is a pre-reflow inspector, which means that normally when you're doing electronics and you're soldering, you've got a big oven at the end which melts for solder to the components of the board form an intermetallic bond. Well, this PRI is to make sure that all those components are correct, they're the right way around, etc. And a lot of companies out there will not spend £140,000 for one of these systems from our competitors. There's one other company that does it that's about our price bracket, which is about 40k. So as you see, it's quite a difference. But they take 2 or 3 minutes to inspect a board, which is too slow for today's modern surface mount lines. So ours inspects it in sub 12 seconds. So it's some brand new technology that's come out of Germany that we're working with, a leading camera manufacturer. And so that's a really exciting product for us, because it's kind of unique. Nobody's really doing it. We do another one, which is a Universal Product Inspector, UPI we call it. We like acronyms. Everything got to be 3 letters.
Yeah.
Whatever in a design meeting, it's got to be 3 letters.
Yeah.
And this is for, there's a part of the process which actually comes in a lot of factories, not just electronics. And this is what we're hoping we can move outside electronics. And that's basically, when you get to the end of the line, it's a complete unit, whatever it is. It can be a battery for a drill, or it can be, a control system. It can be a mobile phone. It can be anything that you need to do a final check on. Traditionally now, a lot of the time, it's done manually with people with check sheets.
Wow.
And the bigger push for traceability in the world now is that we've created a machine. There's nothing out there, that we've done a machine which automatically inspects all of those at the end of the line and records it and produces a report and stores it in a database. So somebody can go onto a web app 5 years later, scan the serial number on their piece of equipment, whatever it is, and you'll be able to see all the build records through our system online. So, it's a fully traceable thing for people. So, yeah, those are the 2 exciting products. And then we've got a virtual reality kind of one coming out that everybody's got one of them coming out. AI, virtual reality, AI, VR,
Yeah. Sounds like you're busy in your R sort of research, development meetings, innovation in terms of the products.
There's 4 of us kind of involved in that, but we all do other roles in the business. There's myself, and then there's Ian Oliver, the 2 of our kind of lead engineers in their areas, and they've both been in since apprenticeships. So they've been with us. Ian's been here 12 years now. So, he's gone from being an apprentice to now being a shareholder, which is how I like to kind of build the business. I want it to be built like that. So everybody who puts the effort and is invested in the business as well, and they get a chance to share some of it. Some of the pain as well, actually. No. Not telling them that. So, yeah, and then we've got a chap that's got many years of experience. Chris, who works with us, he's worked with us for 7 or 8 years now, and he's a really clever software guy. And between the 4 of us, we come up with these crazy ideas. And we're doing some projects for some really big companies, to be fair, but unfortunately, we're all NDA'd, so I can't really tell you that.
Well, it sounds like you're doing some good stuff there, and obviously getting people involved in the business, and there's longevity of people like 12 years staying there. That shows that there's some good stuff happening there. What would be throughout all of this, your biggest lesson? I think you reflected on a lesson earlier, but in terms of in business, if there's one thing that you could share through your experience, what would that be?
Tenacity.
Yeah.
Just don't give up. Don't be scared to kind of try things. I mean, like you mentioned about the recessions and things, 2007 and 8 was terrible. And we just basically sat back and thought, we're not going to have a business. Where's it going to go? So we kind of reinvented the kind of things that we were doing and just stuck at it, kept going. We moved more into service work, which we hadn't done previously. We started to do more of that, and don't be scared to invest more in your staff in these times that are harder. Train them to do certain things that can gain extra skills, which takes you into different areas. So it's finding revenue streams, but don't be scared to go outside of your comfort zone. I think, and the tenacity side of it is just when you go outside that comfort zone, it won't be easy. Just stick at it.
Great.
There's a lot of stress that's in there. It's still there every day, but that's just modern living, unfortunately, with a lot of things. But I think it's just don't give up.
That's it.
That Yorkshire Terrier thing, you see.
Not the right kind of mindset, I suppose, to be flexible when you need to be. So, right, this is one of those times where we have to dig in and just work our way through.
I mean, I wouldn't have imagined when I started 24 years ago that we'd be now a manufacturer and making 7 or 8 of our own products that we're selling globally. I mean, I'd have never dreamt of that. I was just trying. I had 2 young children and didn't want to work away all the time in different countries. Just set up on my own, looking after stuff for people in the UK for some of the suppliers I knew. And thought, I can make a living out of it. It'll be all right. And here we go. We got a full demo facility, manufacturing facility, all these kind of little things. And it's like sometimes you wake up and think, well, why did I do that? But most of the time, it's a good feeling.
And what's your inspiration to do what you do, David? obviously you're showing qualities and tenacity, and although you said you're not necessarily a leader in one sense, but you are with employing people. But what do you like? What do you get out of the business running it?
Oh, I love creating things. I love like coming up with new ideas that solve people's problems. That's my favourite thing. Is that you can go in to see somebody and you can see some of these business owners in a similar position to what I've been or I am in, and they're like saying, "Oh, we need some help," and to be able to sit there and say, "If you do this and this, you'll save this money, which pays for it." I mean, that UPI I mentioned, the local company to us, return on investment was 3 months on a piece of equipment. That's a 40K piece of equipment, and it saved them 40 grand in 3 months. I mean, it's to see
Nice
the
case
look on
study.
their face when you come up with that. They're like, come in, come in, come in. What
Red
other ideas have
carpet.
you got?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I think it's just, I think the thing that's really kind of inspired me on it is I like thinking outside the box. I like those, but making a simple solution for something that looks complicated.
Yeah.
That's the biggest buzz. It used to be selling. I mean, getting an order is great. Everybody loves doing that because you think, well, I can go shopping on Friday. But at the same time, to do something that really helps somebody to grow their business, well, it's pretty good. So
Yeah.
that's one of the best feelings.
But that's pretty satisfying. And it's kind of
Yeah.
that I don't know, going a bit deep, the human nature, the experience to want to solve problems, and kind of why you're here really is to help others.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that probably comes from my childhood. I didn't have the easiest one to start with, and it was kind of like I had to grow up very, very young, very quickly, um, and I had three little brothers that I looked after. So, helping them, and that went out. I think it's a natural thing that's progressed from that.
Yeah.
And I've had kind of parents. My parents never gave up on anything, and they had tough times, and they never gave up. So I think that just makes you that kind of person, really.
Stand you in good stead for doing what you're doing
Yeah,
now.
I mean, especially with father, he was the same. He'd have nothing and do anything to help anybody, and
Yeah.
that's kind of what I get told off about being like sometimes. You've got to make money out of this stuff. Oh, it'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the inspiration comes from definitely from them, from my parents and things, and we've had the same kind of. I've had a very interesting career at the start with young kids and traveling the world all the time, which can have its pressures on
Yeah.
people, like as a relationship. But my wife's put up with me, and she still is, so that's good.
Fantastic. Well, that kind of seems like a nice place to kind of almost end the interview. But in terms of latest news, you've mentioned about products, things like that. If there's
Yeah.
anything more, feel free to share, or share on your website if people would like to get in touch with you.
Yeah.
Where can we do that?
Yeah, well, there's two websites because obviously you mentioned there's DeTech and there's Prey. So DeTech is detech-europe.com, and then we've got the Prey one's really easy, prey.limited, prey.ltd. That's the new manufacturing company. That's the company that obviously is based here in Yorkshire, and we're selling globally with that. So that's the exciting thing for the future. DeTech's the big old giant that sits in the background paying for it all, i.e. me.
You described yourself as a giant there. Brilliant.
Well, compared to prayer, but no, that's maybe getting a bit overzealous. But yeah, so and I think the other thing with it is that we put a lot into having a facility here where it is an R&D facility. So any projects that people have got that involve optics and we want to inspect things, and we had one guy asking about programming RFID tags. We took a machine and we can basically adapt that so it programs 100,000 tags a day, and he was managing to do 1,500 on his own. So it can revolutionise his business.
Wow.
And he was looking at a machine to do it, and these guys were all six figures, and we said, no, 30K, we'll do it. And he was like, what? I can save that in 2 months in time. It was like,
yeah.
So we're always here to sort of like listen to what people have got as problems, and give them a straight answer. I mean, the company slogans make things simple, and that's what I think. Business can be effective if you keep it simple and just look at straightforward solutions, really.
Oh, I love that. we'll end on that little nugget
All
of
right,
gold
mate.
there that you've shared. Thanks, David. It's been really good chatting with you. Thank you for sharing all that you have and the passion that you've got for your business. And I really do wish you all the success for Pray and obviously the next 24 years or so in business.
Oh, God, yeah. Hopefully, I might get a week off in those 24 years.
Thanks, David. All the best.
Thanks, Mike.